Welcome to Isola Sacra, the home to the worn-down but hardy city of Sacrament. Sacrament is a city of immense character, whether you're analyzing medieval architecture, the layout of the city with its many wonderful pockets full of life and decay, or the people within those pockets. There's always something to explore. It truly feels lived in, which is a pretty hard thing to achieve in video games. But the real question I'm sure you're asking is, what is the unemployment rate of this city? Well, that's what I'm here to find out.
Welcome to Sacrament.
You know, I saw two cagey fellows whispering outside the tavern. Mainland spies, most likely. I reported them at once.
My survey begins with this distinguished gentleman who, based on his orderly uniform and stalwart stance, appears to be a member of the local militia employed by Lord Ellsworth himself. The same can be said of this woman here, this man, him, her, him, her, him, and all the rest of these fine folks. As I enter the tavern, I find the tavern keep and two aristocrats based on their clothing. After speaking with the others, I've learned that this gentleman is a tailor and this lady is a prostitute, which of course means they're both employed. This sea dog, however, is looking for work, making him the first unemployed entry to my list. Chef Gordon's restaurant presents me with my first two non-applicable entries based on the conversation I overheard.
Sure, sounds grand. If either one of us were made of silver.
Both appear to be dependent on their husband's income and are having a good time away from the responsibilities of their home life. Near the Southwest Housing District, I find Helena.
Unless you've memorized all 12 of the Emeritus Corbin star charts, then kindly move along.
Pio, the painter.
I used to paint in the woods outside the city's walls. The Marin Forest. What a place. What a haven of beauty.
And Wilkie, who hopes to join the militia, but at the moment is unemployed.
One day, I'll be up on that wall, scanning the horizon, protecting the city, and maybe I'll even get to shake the governor's hand.
In the primary shopping district, we find a clothes washer, a farmer, a blacksmith, a merchant, an alchemist, an enchantress, a craftsman, and two tailors on the technicality of being conjoined at the hip. Young Will here, however, is non-applicable. As I traveled northwest, I stumbled upon Nell, another non-applicable citizen who seems to think she's been infected by the pestilence. Nasty business. Wishing her the best, I walked directly into a squabbling housewife and husband who was shaking off a scary encounter from his last hunt. Now, that sounds like employment to me. Then I bumped into two farmers and these two fishermen. Next, I spoke with the priest of the one true God, and then a reformed rebel who's currently lying low, making him non-applicable as he has no job and is not looking for work. Now, towards the graveyard. So, my line of work gives me insight into the lives of all sorts of people. As it happens though, not all the stories I hear are all sunshine and rainbows. Many end up sounding like this.
You don't know what the pestilence is. You're a child, playing in the sand, making up stories. Have you looked into the eyes of your beloved, as his face turned inside out, and his eyes were pulled down into his throat? I've seen what the plague does. I've watched it take everything I've ever loved.
While her story is sad, I still have to mark her down as unemployed. With no husband to provide for her, she will have to find a way to make a living and survive. Afterwards, I ran into a body transport specialist.
Official shit scraper coming through.
And this young lady who was looking for work. Oh, and there's a scholar in the Sacrament catacombs. At the market outskirts, I found a thief offering me his services, who I of course reported to the authorities in a timely fashion. Then I bumped into the traveling tradeswoman, who of course is not applicable as she does not own a residence within Sacrament. In the town square, we find one aristocrat, 4 political activists, 1 deserter looking for work, and 1 architect. Additionally, this fine gentleman is just visiting. In the highest level of the city, we find 4 aristocrats, 1 arms specialist, 1 prospector, and 2 scholars. Taking the lift down into the eastern side of the city, I bumped right into an archaeologist. I found a farmer tilling his land, a homeless person begging for money, a healer, and a bard practicing his tune. Last portion of the city is the slums, where I was sure to find the most unemployed people. I started off by finding 2 priests of differing religions and another sweeper. In total, I found 8 people, all unable to work because of drug issues, disabilities, or old age. Some additional people I found around the city are the captain of the guard, the duke, and this dacha in the top right corner. In conclusion, the city of Sacrament is currently home to 103 individuals, 78 of which are employed. Additionally, 14 people are unemployed, while 11 people are unapplicable. Through conducting this survey, I learned many things about the social, political, and cultural climate of Sacrament. First of all, the largest employer is Governor Ellsworth himself, as 29 out of the 103 individuals are employed by him as guards. In fact, there are 29 individual jobs total, ranging from tavern keep to alchemist to blacksmith. For a city of over 100 people, only 7 specialize in gathering food. This seems rather low for a medieval society, which leads me to believe Sacrament must import the majority of its food from other establishments around Sacra, and potentially the mainland. There seems to be a particular divide discussed in all manner of social circles, from the lowest fisherman to the highest aristocrat. This discourse is of course between the church and the dacha. The dacha are the original inhabitants of this island and have been rather pushed aside by the mainlanders and their one true god. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, the unemployment rate of Sacrament is 15.22%. That's not great, and is pretty indicative of the financial hardship many of the citizens are going through right now. The most likely cause of this would be the pestilence, a deadly, body-warping plague that is spreading throughout the land. I'm sure it will get better, though. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?